Piper Cherokee is a single-engine aircraft. It has an engine in it. It'll be a six-cylinder engine, either a V6 or a straight six. It'll be Continental Lycoming in nature. They have both designations that they installed in those aircraft. It would run anywhere between 150 to 200 horsepower. Have a wingspan of roughly, I would say around 40 feet. At around 20 to 35 feet long. I'd have to get the specs out on that particular aircraft. Piper designated it as a PA-28. That's known as the Piper Cherokee. It weighs in the neighborhood of 2,500 to 3,000 pounds and will hold between 60 and 75 gallons of fuel, fully fueled. Now, as to whether the damage coincides with the impact and the actual damage that an aircraft could, in fact, produce, from what I've seen, I have
You
no
are
reason to
now
doubt
running
that
on
there
reserve battery
are
power.
absolutely nothing nefarious from what I've seen. The damage coincides with what that aircraft can do. You take 75 gallons of 120 octane avgas, souped up gasoline is all it is. You put it in a 3,000 pound vehicle, and at less than 1,000 feet AGL, above ground level, traveling at 140 to 160 knots, which is over 175 miles an hour, at 3,000 pounds, you've basically got a 3,000 pound Molotov cocktail. And the damage that it can do definitely coincides. I see nothing nefarious about that.
Absolutely. I kind of came.
What I've seen with the.
I kind of came to the same consensus.
From what the damage that was done, you know, you take you take a 3,000 pound Molotov cocktail and start running it through the air at roughly 175 miles an hour, 140 to 160 knots, and that's the sort of carnage that you're going to get. These aircraft that I was working on in Lake City were in fact running in and out of that dirt strip at Southern Cross Aviation. Very simple. I was also told by an employee that had been working there for over 20 years that SAT was in fact owned and operated by the Central Intelligence Agency. I was also told that they were so secretive in some of their operations and some of their flights that their pilots don't even know where they're going until they're in the air, in which time they either open a sealed envelope and receive their instructions, or two, they are notified by radio air traffic control. Total IFR, total control, with instructions step by step where to go.
Absolutely, Chris. That's just an amazing amount of intel that you're providing us. This is the Intel Hub, so we do get information like this from time to time, and I'm really interested in picking your brain on all this knowledge you have on these particular subjects. So yeah, basically, I myself was aware of the Clinton dealings with it and drug runnings that they were doing, but I did not know that it was SAT that was involved, and that's going to really spark my interest to do a lot more research. Also, from your experience, have you ever encountered any type of other chemtrail facilities or sprayer nozzles on commercial airlines? You know, I heard a story one time that, you know, when they first started spraying chemtrails, I heard that they were retrofitting actually commercial airlines with sprayer nozzles and valves, and it would be on a time discharge or some kind of electronically controlled system. I heard one time that a tech went into a plane and he was pulling apart some panels and found the sprayer apparatus on those tips that I don't know what those tips are on the wings of like a 747 or a 727. You have those little spurs that come off of them in multiple places. And I heard that he had inspected such commercial aircraft and found clandestine sprayer nozzles within commercial aircraft. Have you seen or witnessed anything out of the ordinary like that, of that nature, or any other chemtrail type activity?
The only thing that could be denoted as chemtrail activity, and again, I have to be careful in my wording, I don't know exactly what Evergreen was using it for. That's simply a conclusion on my part. But as far as liquefied tanks, sprayer nozzles, and that sort of thing, Evergreen is the only place that I have ever seen that installed on an aircraft. I was actually involved in the installation of it. I have worked, well, I don't have to give away my age. You can see it on the video. But my first job for a commercial airline was for Eastern Airlines. That was quite a ways back. I have worked either directly or indirectly for Eastern Airlines. I've worked for Continental. I've done work for Hawaiian Airlines. I have done work for Southwest Airlines. I've done work for Midway Airlines before they went under, and probably a host of others that simply don't come to mind at the moment. Of all of the aircraft that I've ever worked on, civilian aircraft, passenger aircraft, the only ones that I have seen done with this is Evergreen.
Absolutely, Chris. Going back into any other projects.
Now, that's not to say that they don't.
Going back to any other projects.
The world of aviation is a rather large. It's a large.
Going back to any other projects you've been involved in, Chris, have you ever encountered drone aircraft, specifically at the Evergreen site? I know that from my research, it shows that Evergreen is heavily involved in drone aircraft technology. Do you have any information on that, or at any other facility?
I have heard of this, but I have never seen it. And all of the aircraft, I can tell you specifically, because the aircraft, once you're assigned to do the work on it, you have full reign to go anywhere and everywhere. And sometimes I wouldn't go to the cafeteria. I would bring in a sack lunch, and oftentimes, irregardless of the hangar that I was working in, whether Evergreen, Eastern, Continental, or wherever, instead of making the walk all the way to the cafeteria, I would simply go up into the cockpit, eat my lunch, and listen to the radio. What a lot of people don't know is there's external APU units which are connected to an aircraft even when it's being overhauled. And for the most part, a lot of the electronics still work. So you can take the aviation comm radios and you can station or whatever. As a matter of fact, some aircraft use radio stations within this use of VOR for navigation. But I would go up into the cockpits and flip the radios on and eat my lunch. So I can tell you, I also did a lot of work in E&E bays. Electronics and electrical and electronics bays, which are just under the cockpit and slightly aft of the cockpit. And as far as any nefarious electronics or autopilot or drone technology in the 747s or 727s that I did work on there at Evergreen, that did not exist in those aircraft. And again, that is in those specific aircraft, that I did work on. Whether or not they were installed later, or if they have other planes that are equipped with that, is another. It's a whole different ball game.
I understand. Absolutely. Well, I'd like to see. Are you going to be available for possibly like a Saturday interview on the Intel Hub?
Aircraft that I did work on. I may very well be. I do have a few irons in the fire within issues of keeping food on the table, but Saturday evening about this time, I should be available, sure.
All right, Chris, I appreciate everything and everything you've divulged here at the Intel Hub. And I'm going to let you go for now. I'm going to bring some other people on, and I appreciate it once again. And you have a good night, Chris, and stick around if you would.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. That is Chris. He was involved in the working at the Evergreen Air Facility as a private contractor. That was a mind-blowing interview for me. I'm very interested in that type